What's going on, Prop Nation? It is the Dunbarton Tobacco and Trust Tech Rant Wednesday, powered by Bacardi and Diet Coke. I'm not one to rant. Usually, I try and save the tech tips on Sundays. We're all a little bit chill and relaxed. Not today. I'm pissed. I literally just got home 5-6 minutes ago. My Uber driver really kind of pissed me off. We were out of the... First of all, he picked me up at my place of employment, which is an automotive repair facility. So he knows what I do for a living. And this is the second time that he's picked me up, so he at least knows me. But his brakes were a little touchy. He goes, "Oh, I just had these brakes done last night, and I'm just still getting used to them." So proceeds to go on his little rant about how he stopped to my competitor, local to me, down the road, and got a price for a set of brakes. He's driving a Mercedes CLK, like 320, something like that. Not a super expensive Mercedes, but not bottom of the barrel either. And he's like, "Do you know how much they wanted to charge me?" And I'm like, "Yeah, like front brakes, probably $800, $850. And they're like, "Yeah, it was like $780 or something." So yeah, I'm right in the same ballpark. And I'm like, "Yeah, it's about the going rate." You know what my mechanic charged me? My mechanic told me that I could go and get all the parts myself, and then he would only charge me $100. I'm like, God, that sounds like a piss poor mechanic right there making that deal. That's not a lot of work, but that is some work. And he kept saying that term, my mechanic, over and over again. That'll come out later in the conversation here. So I went to, ordered all my parts and this and that, and I ended up getting everything for like $300 or whatever it was. And he's like, they wanted to make $350 in profit off of a job that took an hour. He goes, that's highway robbery. Places like that should be ashamed of themselves. I'm like, well, they got a lot of overhead. They got to pay taxes. They've got a shop. I go, you got to pay a technician like myself. I said, I'm experienced. I got 20 years. I'm not cheap to have employed. He's like, well, my mechanic, he pays taxes as well, and that's just an outrage. And I go, well, it's really not. I go, there's advertising, there's a lot that goes into, to make $300 profit on a job. It's really not that, and to do it in an hour, you're probably cutting some corners there, guy. But so, and then later on, he's like, asked me if I do any side work. I'm like, no, I don't do side work. I don't get into that. Pain in the butt, comebacks, I don't want that. And he goes, well, my mechanic, he actually works for the city on buses all day long, and he does work on the side. So he doesn't have a business, he doesn't have taxes, he doesn't pay insurance, he hides all of that money that you're paying cash for, and now we've come down to it. You're just pissed off because I'm trying to make a living. Another business is trying to make a living. You don't go to Starbucks and you pay, what do you pay, $9 for that drink? What do you think they got into it? If you're watching this, you're probably a cigar lover like myself. You think, a $15, $20 cigar, you don't think that there's 200, 300, 400% markup in that cigar? There is. And sometimes worse, especially if you're getting it, these shades. I'm not going to go into that. But yeah, there's markup on everything. You go in the Circle K, a buddy of mine runs, general manager for some Circle Ks. The Polar Pop, any size, 99 cents. People are like, I can get the big one for 99 cents. 3.5 cents. 3.5 cents worth of product in that. It's been about a year since I talked to him. Let's just double that. Let's triple that to 12 cents. You're still paying 99 cents. What's the fucking markup on that? But you don't bitch about that because you enjoy it. That's something that you take pleasure in. And that's gone. That's gone. You drink it. It's gone. You smoke a cigar. It's fucking gone in 90 minutes. These are brakes on your car, on your vehicle, your 4,500 pound, a Mercedes probably that heavy, maybe 3,500, but this multi-thousand pound machine hurtling down the road needs to stop. It needs to stop every time. And yeah, so the guy that works on the buses, giant brakes all day long, I'm not saying he doesn't know anything about Mercedes brakes. Did he just reuse the sensors if they weren't worn down? Did he go into the system and reprogram it? I doubt it. I'm not gonna judge this guy on what he did and did not do. I can only judge this guy on what all the other shade tree guys that do the jobs themselves. Oh, thinking about that, we just had a little Nissan Frontier into the shop yesterday. Guy did the brakes himself, spongy pedal all the way down to the floor, drives it to our shop. Hey, I did everything myself, and my neighbor helped me a little bit, and we can't get the brakes bled. And so we write him up, he drops it off, we call him up later. Yeah, he put the calipers on backwards or upside down. That's not possible. Well, it must not be then. Come pick your car up. Go figure it out yourself. Obviously, you did the job. You did it piss poorly. Couldn't figure it out. I'm telling you, you put the left caliper on the right, so now the bleed screws at the bottom. It can't get all the air out. So we want to charge them an hour's labor. Whatever it was with tax, like $135. It's like, oh, why is it so expensive? Because I'm doing the fucking job the right way. So now I gotta take the hoses off. You throw away the copper crush washers because we don't reuse those. Shut up, Stella! I'm yelling at the camera. So yeah, and then we've got to bleed the brakes and everything else on that car. And yeah, so at first he's like, I'll just take it home, do it myself. Now that I know what the problem is, and we told him, you already messed it up the first time. Do you want to drive this vehicle away with a gas pedal that goes to the floor? You already drove it here, endangering the lives of everybody on the road. With your gas pedal, I just give it some extra stopping distance. What if a kid darts out? So yeah, these are the reasons you don't do some work yourself. These are the reasons you don't let your neighbor that works on school buses, work on your vehicle either. And this guy is an Uber driver. He's taking my life into his hands because he cheapened out. And if this was his own personal vehicle that he only goes to the store and does all this stuff with, I've got less of a problem with that. But this is now a commercial vehicle that he's hauling passengers around with. And now that's in my head. What did this guy do? Am I going to die? This guy's going to step on the brakes and a caliper is going to fall off. I know that can't happen, but it's going through my mind. So yeah, this guy has decided, and same with that guy with that Nissan Frontier, that guy decided to take responsibility for everybody's lives that are out on the road for the sake of being cheap. I've said it before. There are things that you can do yourself. There are things you should be doing yourself on your car. Minor tune-ups, your filters, your wiper blades. Those are things that you can easily do and save a lot of money. And those are the things that you should be doing. There are other things on your car that you should not be tackling if you're not 100% confident in that job, and brakes are one of them. They're the big one. You want to try rebuilding your transmission at your house? That's fine. Go ahead and do that. Pull that bad boy out and try that. You want to tackle a valve cover gasket? Yeah, it's a little bit intense on some vehicles. Go ahead and try doing that. Serpentine belt, those are a pain in the butt. Even I don't want to do those on a lot of cars, but try doing that yourself. You can save some money. But you should not be attempting brakes. You should not be letting your neighbor who had a lawn business for 30 years, do the brakes on your car. You shouldn't be allowing the guy that works on school buses, and there are exceptions to every rule that I just bitched about. But at the end of the day, you shouldn't be taking the risk. You shouldn't be endangering the lives of everybody on the road because you thought somebody was ripping you off and you don't understand how business works, how taxes work, how insurance works, how everything else works. We're not ripping you off. We're making a living. And I just want to leave it at that. This has been the Dunbarton Tobacco, because Steve is probably the only one that will allow me to use his cigar in my rant. The Dunbarton Tobacco and Trust Tech Rant Wednesday, powered by Bacardi and Diet Coke. We'll see you cats and kittens this Sunday for a little bit more laid back tech tip.